Thank you very much. I will respond to about 3 questions and then leave the rest to Excellencies to deal with. I'll start with my sister from Gulf. And you ask about the investment comfort. I think the investment we are talking about here, although I didn't go through the book, is my assumption is that we need to encourage private investors to go to these regions. And a private investment does not tie to a lifespan of a government. So we have unorganized forums like the Chamber of Commerce, which is based in every county, and they have affiliates to a national body, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, and is it called Trade or Industries? I'm not very sure. And then we have SACCOs. So the most important thing is first to find out, is there an opportunity, which we are told yes, there are opportunities and which we can tap into. And then can we do as a county government, can we look for an investment? No, of course we are being guided by the laws of this country, including the PMM Act and all other relevant laws. For us to go through or get a loan, then we have to go through a long, tedious process like doing resolution at the county levels, both at the executive and assembly, and then the national treasury, the foreign affairs. It's a long way. It has never worked. I'm not sure I'm not out of any county who has gone through that process and get an investment. So from where I sit, the investment you're talking about is how can we encourage the private investors, give them the avenues, and then facilitate them so that they invest in those counties. I think that's where, not about tied into the life of a governor. So how can we work with those structures? We have the Chamber of Commerce, we have SACCOs, we have also individual business people in that area. If we can get support, then they can even partner with now the external investors. That now brings us to the issue of land channel. Of course, the challenges are there. In northern lands, we have is community land. In Mandera, we have looked at our records. The number of titles for entire Mandera County is about 1,300. Those are, again, not chunk of land just plot in Mandera town. The entire county, I said about 26,000 square kilometers, has not been even set aside. Even the sub-counties we have are not set aside under the land tenure system. We have started that program. We have formed a hurdle committee. I think the law is very clear on how we do that, so that we set aside the settlement, the market centers, the townships, and the municipalities carved out of the community land. And then the rest now left to the communities. Can we do the registration of the communities? Is a very delicate and emotional process. We have been discussing, and it will take a bit of time. But for investors, we still engage the communities because the county government is the custodian of the community land. So with the proper public participation between the communities, the county government, and the investors, we can still avail land for field lots, we can still avail land for mining and all other things. So the comfort we should be talking about is not tied to the lifespan of a governor, but the relationship between the communities there and the investor. On Khalif, I think he asked questions and he attempted to respond and answer most of them himself. But he said there's a lot of resources. Even me, I used to believe that when I was not a governor. Before I became a governor, I thought there was a lot of resources. And when we are talking about an area of 71,000 square kilometers or 26,000 square kilometers, like Mandera, we have about 500 settlements. Now, all the 500 settlements require basic things: water, education, and that is when we talk of education, schools, water, and health facility. Just basic. By the time you've reached half of the settlement, the 10 years is already over. So when we are talking about a lot of resources in counties, we just need to dissect it and look at the programs that we do, and the budgets are online. I think the report of the COP is very clear on how we disperse this money. So the money is not a lot, my brother, but we are struggling with the basic things as people from that region. Yeah, when you have seen the bridge there to Kapendo, you know how that bridge looks like? You wonder whether it is a footbridge for human beings or whether it is for a vehicle. There are a lot of our hands are full. Nevertheless, we have been attempting to so many programs. I think Governor Wilson has said that. For in our case, after the 3 years of cycle and drought, the entire population of livestock in that region were finished. Those are the resources they rely on to pay their school fees. So it forced me to pay everybody's school fees in Mandera County. Anybody who is going to a secondary school in Mandera County, public school, Mandera County government pays for them. Now we are running it for the second year. You can imagine how much it will cost. We are talking about 24,000 school-going students to secondary schools. If I don't pay, what will happen? School dropout, no industries to work, there's no agriculture. The next thing is they cross to Somalia to be radicalized. That is only one component. We struggle to supply drugs to those centers. You can imagine how many there are. We struggle to build classrooms. We are not still talking about quality education. We are still talking about access to education. We are two different levels. In some places, people are talking about quality education. In some places, we are talking about access. That's why the illiteracy level of those counties are huge. And so just wanted to say that, but that doesn't mean that we should not do better than what we are doing. We have already started investing in agriculture, that is food production, of course at a smaller level. I've been struggling to make sure that our lives of the remaining ones should not die of diseases. We are exposed to so many, we are bordering 2 countries where there's no formal government on the other sides, and then the movement of animals from one region to another, and then the outbreak of livestock diseases. We always struggle with that. And we are also struggling with how do we provide skilled labor, the vocational training centers. I'm sure they mentioned that in the report. Because most of our people there rely for skilled services on people who come from other part of the country. The mercenaries, the people who are in construction workers. So we are supporting the technical institutions, paying them the fees, including examination fees, so that people get skills so that they create jobs instead of looking for jobs. Finally, you are aware of the exodus of teachers from those regions because of the insecurity. We were forced to do national government functions, putting up a training college in those areas, sponsoring 50% of those who are going to be trained as teachers to encourage them to be teachers. So that our hands are full, but I agree with you, we need to invest in those areas. And the investment we should be talking about is how do we create a good environment? How do we, the 2 things I like from this presentation is the process matter. And then there's peace. Where there's no peace, there's no development. And when there's no development, there's no peace. So how can we now discuss about this so that we create a conducive environment for our people or for other people to come and invest in those areas? Maybe I'll leave the rest for others to respond to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. And